Okay, dark is the night. Dark is the night. In fact, the night is so dark that I'm actually reading off of a piece of sheet music. This is what we're going to talk about today. How do we go about approaching something like this? And I'd like to give you some structure to all the notes so that they're not just a bunch of individual random notes. Let's talk about it. So we start with the scale. We're in the key of A minor. So this is the A natural minor scale, but we also utilize and borrow from the A harmonic minor. That's why you see a lot of G sharps. That G sharp is coming from the E dominant 7 chord, which then resolves back to A minor, which is the 1 chord. But first, let's go ahead and form some of the chords that are in this piece. We have A minor. We also have C major, C, E, and G. We have D minor, D, F, and A. We have G dominant 7, so that's a G major triad with an additional minor 7 added to the top. It turns it into a dominant 7. And now we'll start to add some flats and sharps here and go outside of the key. So this, well, first we'll talk about G dominant 7. Sorry, not G, E dominant 7. E, G sharp, and B form the E major triad. And if we add a minor 7 interval to the top of that, just tag it on top, this turns it into a dominant 7 chord. And that 7 is based off of the E major scale. So what is the 7th scale degree of E major? It's G sharp. It's D sharp. So D sharp, if we lower that by a half step and turn it into a D natural, this is a E dominant 7. That's where that 4th note comes from. Let's apply that same approach to B dominant 7. So B dominant 7 is a combination of the B major triad with an additional interval, the minor 7. Where's that minor 7 coming from? It's coming from the B major scale. The B major scale has an A sharp in it, and if we lower that major 7 to a minor 7, this is B dominant 7. And we see this. We also see the combination of 3 chords. We go from B dominant 7 to E dominant 7 to A minor. And this is such a cool chord progression because it follows the circle of fifths. So B is the root of B dominant 7. E is the root of E dominant 7. And this goes to A minor. All of those roots are located a fifth from each other, so we're just following the circle of fifths. And it's so cool. So we can voice it like this, or we can play it like this. Sorry about that little thing there. We could voice it like this. We could also do there's so many cool ways to play that 1 chord progression, and the ability to do that is determined by inversion. So inverting a chord is the process of playing it in different positions, or it's just the ability to play it in different positions. So this B dominant 7 is being inverted across the keyboard. It's being played in different positions. All of the component notes are the same, the harmony is the same, function is the same, but it's just all the notes are occurring in different spots. And same applies to E dominant 7, same applies to A minor. But let's go ahead and move along in the piece. This is the intro. A minor, 5/7 of 5, which is B dominant 7, which goes to the 5 chord. It's the 5/7 of the 5. The 5 chord is E dominant 7. That goes to the 1. Okay, now from 1 we can, from the end of the intro, we can go into the verse here. A minor, D minor, G dominant 7. That's a dominant 7 chord that I didn't cover. It's G dominant 7. But I actually don't really know whether or not it's a secondary dominant, because a secondary dominant implies that it's outside of the key of the original key of the piece, A minor, but it's inside the key, because the A minor scale is just a bunch of white notes. It's all the white notes, and G dominant 7 follows all those rules. It's in the key of A minor, but it also functions as a dominant because it moves to C major. So it isn't a secondary dominant, but it is a dominant function for C, and you can hear that play out. Here's D minor, G dominant 7 to C, then to A minor. Here's G sharp diminished 7. G sharp diminished 7. This chord is insane. So we are going to form it using the G sharp scale. There's that it might make more sense to go, oh, it was just A flat. No, we can't do that because the context is A minor, so we have to call it G sharp and build it from G sharp. The G sharp scale goes as this: G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F double sharp, G sharp. So the dominant 7 is based off of the diminished triad. And if we add the diminished 7 chord, diminished 7 interval, that is taking the 7th scale degree of this G sharp major scale, which is F double sharp. This is the major 7. F sharp would form the minor 7. F natural would form the diminished 7. So that's what we're adding in order to form G diminished 7. How do we know what to call G sharp diminished 7? How do we know what to call it? It's we have to analyze, or we have to look at its relationship to its following chord, A minor. So G sharp is located a 7. It's the 7th scale degree in the A minor scale, A harmonic minor. So that's why we call it the 7 diminished 7. And we can also identify that by looking at the reason that I'm about to say what I'm going to say is because there's a ton of different ways to play the dominant 7 chord. Not the dominant 7 chord, the diminished 7 chord. And so what do we call it? Do we call it D diminished 7, F diminished 7, G sharp diminished 7? What do we actually call it? We call it G sharp. We're titled it G sharp because G sharp, you'll generally see it located from in relationship to A, or it's the chord that it's going to go to. You'll see it go up a half step. You see that all the time. So even though you might see F as the root, go to A minor. You might see D as the root, also go to A minor. Why do we call it G sharp diminished 7? Because first of all, it's the 7 of A minor. But also, another way to just figure that out is to just look at the whatever is a half step below your target chord, A minor, and base it off of that. Okay, that was a bit messy, but you get the idea. So here we have it. Here's G sharp diminished 7. Even though you don't play a G sharp in the bass, here's now A minor. 5/7 of 5, B dominant 7. And then we've got a E dominant 7. That resolves to its tonic, A minor. C major. And we've got, this is such a cool little turnaround here. So here's the B dominant 7 chord. And instead of going to what you'd assume, which is the root of the next chord, this is the 5, 7 to 5, you'd assume it go to the 5, which is E, but it doesn't, because it gives some chromatic movement. And we want to resolve to the tonic A. So actually B flat and D are just chromatic steps down to this third that occurs in the A minor triad. So E dominant 7, even though I'm playing a B flat and a D. A minor. D minor. G dominant 7, kind of a 5-7 chord. Kind of a secondary dominant, not really. That goes to the 3. C major. A minor 7. G diminished 7. G sharp diminished 7, sorry. To A minor first inversion. A minor. 5, 7 to 5. 5. To 1. 5, 7 to 5. So that seems crazy, and it is kind of crazy. You kind of have to be crazy to embark upon this mission to make sense of all the notes. But when it comes to playing a more harmonically dense piece like this, it is worse to think of it as a bunch of random notes strung together. That's not the case. It is a very intricate and calculated, complex arrangement of chords and structures. And getting familiar with all of these chords and structures and concepts like inversions and how to move all these around, along with functional harmony, giving each of these chords a job or a function is part of the process of making sense of a piece of music, so that you don't just memorize it note by note. You actually internalize it and go, wait, I know how that goes. That goes 5, 7 to 5, 5 to 1. And that's the whole intro. And you'll see this occur over and over and over again in other pieces of music. So if you want a full version of this where I go a little bit deeper, I spend about 30 minutes talking about all these harmonies and how they work together. I've got a full version of this lesson over on my website. And this definitely surpasses basic harmony, but if you want a free PDF, a free ebook on how you can form these scales, chords, and how to invert your basic triads, go ahead and check out the free ebook over on my website. Put your email in, go straight to your email. Thanks for watching, happy practicing, and I hope this could help.